Lesson 5-8, Comparing and Ordering Fractions. And in this lesson, you learn to compare and order fractions. When are you ever going to use this? Knowing how to order fractions can help you determine better buys when grocery shopping. And in this lesson, learn a few terms: least common denominator, or the LCD. Let's take a look at this example. The graph shows that 3/5 of the smog is caused by cars, 3/20 is caused by the power plant emissions. Okay, question is more smog caused by cars or by power plants? Okay, so we can probably use comparing fractions to solve this problem. We want to compare 3/5 and 3/20th. And one method to do this is to use what we call the LCD. So one way to compare fractions is to express them as fractions with the same denominator. Any common denominator could be used, but the least common denominator makes the computation easier. So we want to find the LCD, or the least common denominator. And it's also saying that you can use any common denominator, but LCD makes all computation a lot easier. Okay, so the least common denominator is the LCM of the denominators. Okay, to find the LCD of 3/5 and 3/20, you need to find the LCM of 5 and 20. Okay, and from what we learned, in order to find the LCM, there are three methods: calculator method, the listing method, and the prime factorization method. And let's use the listing method for this one. If we want to find multiples of 5, there are 0, 5, 10, 15, and 20, and so on and so forth. Multiples of 20, 0, 20, 40, 60, and 80. And the non-zero common multiple, the non-zero least common multiple would be 20. So the LCM of 5 and 20 would be 20. Okay? That's our LCM. If that's our LCM, then all we need to do is write equivalent fractions. We want to get 3/5, and we want to write an equivalent fraction of 3/5, that has a denominator of 20. And we know for a fact that you multiply 5 by 4 to get to 20. That means we need to multiply our numerator by 4 as well. Okay, so therefore 3/5 is equal to 12 over 20. Okay, so 3/5 is equal to 12 over 20, and we simply compare now 12 over 20 and 3/20. Okay, and this is our 12 over 20, and this is our 3/20. Obviously, by using models, we know that 12 over 20 is greater. Okay, so since 12 is greater than 3 in this case, 12 over 20 is greater than 3/20, therefore 3/5 is greater than 3/20. So more smog is caused by cars than by power plants. Okay, let's take a look at example number 1 and apply what we just learned. Replace each circle with less than, greater than, or equal to make a true sentence. 3/5 circle 2/3. So we want to compare these two fractions by finding the LCM of 5 and 3 is 15. So 3/5 and 2/3 as fractions with the denominator 15 are, we have 3/5. Divide that by 3. We need to divide this by 3, so you end up with 9 over 15. 2/3, multiply that by 5. Multiply this by 5 as well. End up with 10 over 15. Okay, and from there we simply compare the numerators. Since 9 is less than 10, 9/15 is less than 10 over 15, therefore 3/5 is less than 2/3. Okay, let's take a look at number 2, 9/10 and 4/5. Okay, so the LCM of 10 and 5 is 10. Okay, using what we learned in the previous lesson. So we want to express 4/5 as a fraction with a denominator of 10. We don't need to change 9/10 because it already has a denominator of 10. Okay, so we know that we multiply that 5 by 2 to get to 10, then therefore we need to multiply the numerator 4 to get to 10, by 2 as well. So we end up with 8 over 10. Okay, and we know that since 9 is greater than 8, 9 tenths is greater than 8 tenths, so 9 tenths is greater than 4 fifths. And in the last example, the graph shows how people prefer to pay for travel expenses. Do more people prefer to pay for travel expenses with credit cards or with cash? So credit cards is 7 over 25, cash is 1/2, so you need to compare fraction 7 over 25 and 1/2. LCM of 25 is 2, of 25 and 2 is 50, so express each fraction with a denominator of 50. Okay, so 7 over 25 with the denominator 50, you multiply 25 by 2 to get to 50, therefore I need to multiply 7 by 2 as well, end up with 14 over 50. I need to multiply 2 by 25 to get to 50, and that means I need to multiply 1 as well, so this becomes 25 over 50, and we simply compare the numerators 14 and 25. In this case, okay, 14 is less than 25, so more people prefer to pay with cash than with credit cards. Okay? Okay, now another tip in finding LCMs, if you notice, the LCM of 25 and 2 is 50. Okay, so how did we get that so fast? Because if you find the prime factors of 25, let's do this. Prime factors of 25 are 5 times 5. And the prime factors of 2 are simply 2. So if you notice, okay, there is no common factor except for 1. Okay, but since 1 is not a prime factor, we don't write it down. We don't write it. So if two numbers, okay, if they have a GCF of 1, if their GCF is equal to 1, all you need to do is multiply the two numbers to find the LCM. Okay, so that's another tip which is not in the book. Okay, so if you have two numbers whose GCF is 1, simply multiply the two numbers to get the LCM. Okay, for example, 2 and 3. Okay, so you know for a fact that their GCF is 1 because they don't have any other common factor but 1. So all you need to do is multiply both of them, the LCM will be 6. Okay, that is provided that the GCF of both numbers is equal to 1. Okay, and that's it. Okay, thank you for watching.